Hello folks, Jack here for Peach Guitars. Welcome to another video. It's my great pleasure to say that it's 2026 and here I am doing a video on a 100-watt Marshall head. I didn't think this would happen too often, but fortunately here we are. As you can probably tell from the aesthetic of this one, this is quite a specific and special Marshall. This is the Dookie, so the Billie Joe Armstrong signature Marshall Plexi. This is an amp basically that's the stuff of legend. So the original amp that was used for the Dookie sessions in the early days of Green Day caused such a stir among guitarists. So many people love that sound. I love that sound. And what it effectively was a very well and specifically modified Marshall 1959 model 100-watt Plexi with a few crucial mods done to the circuit that suited the band's sound and Billie Joe's very unique guitar style. Marshall have finally decided to recreate that amp as a limited edition model. It's a fully hand-wired model as well, so it's a real premium amplifier. It has a lot of the same bedrock foundation that makes up a great 1959 100-watt Plexi model, but as I said before, with some crucial modifications. So let me delve a little bit deeper into what those are, and throughout the course of the video, of course, you're going to hear some playing examples to showcase what this mod actually does. Okay, so the Dookie mod, as it's referred, effectively started life with the early days Green Day producer, Rob Cavallo. The producer really wanted to get a unique kind of guitar sound for Billie. So they enlisted the help of Bob Bradshaw, who obviously very, very well respected and well known guitar rig builder, but also amp designer. And some of Bob's modifications that he was doing to Marshall amplifiers at the time was a great starting point for the kind of sound that they were looking for. However, there were just a few crucial changes they needed to make tonally. So with a bit of further experimentation and some component changes, they landed on what became this amplifier's tone. So it's kind of has that Bradshaw crunch mod kind of tone where it's a little bit smoother. It obviously has more gain, and that comes specifically from cascading the gain stages. So this is something that's been done time and time again to Marshall amp circuits. You'll notice that the faceplate is different to a conventional 1959 style Plexi, whereas you don't have the 4 inputs, you just have the 2. So it's kind of laid out like a later era JMP or JCM 800 kind of layout, and you have a master volume and a gain control. So this immediately makes the amp a lot more versatile, and with the high sensitivity and low sensitivity inputs, you get a huge range of different gain options and different tones. The Dookie sound though is that high input, high gain sound. It's got a smoothness, but it also has all this extra low end kind of punch and low mid as well. It's very aggressive, but it doesn't really tear your head off like some other modded Marshall sounds could do. I personally think it has a lot of sponginess to it as well, but not in the Van Halen kind of sense. It's not. It doesn't have that Variac kind of feel. It's still very, very immediate and articulate, but it just has a very pleasing EQ curve. So to reference those early Green Day tones, I wanted to get something that was reminiscent of Billie's guitar at the time. So he played the famous Blue Strat. So I grabbed a Blue Strat from the Fender Custom Shop, HSS. I pretty much set the EQ almost flat, so almost everything at 12 o'clock, and it just seemed to give me that tone. It's actually slightly lower gain than you might think, because when you listen to the recordings, that's just a wall of guitars. There's at least 2, 3, 4 guitar tracks on there. The individual guitar sound, it's actually a little cleaner, but it still has all this weight to it, which is what the mod of this amp brings to the party. I'm also going to play some tones with a Gibson Les Paul Jr. to kind of cop some of the slightly latter day Green Day sounds as well. Again, didn't really touch the amp for that, but you just hear the distinct difference between the personalities of those two guitars. And all of the tones are plugged straight into the amp. There's no pedals, no effects, it's all amp tone. So, you've heard a lot of the classic Green Day style tones covered here. However, I did want to make the point that this is still a very versatile amp. Any high quality Marshall style circuit can do so many different tones, and this is no exception. So, using the low sensitivity input, I found some really great sounds just by cranking the gain and perhaps dropping the master a little bit. It almost gets into that kind of Townsend-esque territory where it's very percussive, not a whole lot of overdrive, but it's got that classic Marshall high watt type thing where it's just very punchy. The mod is still in effect, of course, as in the circuit changes that were done to the amp is still affecting the low sensitivity. It doesn't sound quite as brash as some other Marshalls that I've played. It still has a bit of that smoothness to it, which makes it very, very pleasing to play. Turning the gain down even more, especially with a Strat, you can get all those bouncy kind of full-bodied Hendrix cleans. You can get a little bit of that Blackmore kind of crunch by turning the gain up. I actually use the high sensitivity input to get some of those Blackmore type tones. Turning the gain up further, it borders on the brown sound. As I mentioned before, it's not quite the same thing. It's not quite as loose feeling as that. It's a little more stiff, but it can get in the same kind of EQ territory. And then just for fun, I thought, let's crank the gain and try and get some early 80s modded Marshall tones out of this, like some more of the thrash kind of stuff. So all in all, it's a hugely versatile amp. Of course, it's a 100-watt Marshall. It's definitely loud if you want it to be, but the master volume does work very well at lower volumes too. However, we didn't do any of that today. I hope that you enjoy all the tones that you've heard. If you have any further questions about it, drop a comment down below and let me know equally what you think of this amp, what you think of the Dookie sound. As I mentioned before, it's such a kind of groundbreaking, cool guitar sound when it debuted back in the 90s. I still think it holds up really well to this day. So I'm personally very pleased that Marshall have put this in a product for 2026. Like I said at the start, how cool is that we're still talking about 100-watt Marshalls in this day and age. If you want more info on the amp, click the link down in the description below. Head to the website to find out everything more that you could want to know about it. But I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.